Hello guys, in the last video we have seen what is distance and what is displacement. Okay, now here we are going to talk about speed and velocity. We'll start with speed first. Now what is speed? I'm at point P here, okay, and I want to reach point Q. Okay, the distance between point P and Q, the straight distance, I would say it is let us say 30 meter. So I start from point P and I reach point Q. Now my friend also starts from the same point and he also reaches point Q. Okay. Now that means both of us we are going to walk 30 meter. Okay. But then I complete my my moving from here to here in, let us say, 5 seconds, and my friend, he takes 6 seconds. What does it mean? Who has got greater speed? Of course I have greater speed because I completed, I covered the same distance in less time, and he has covered the same distance in little more time. So this ratio of distance with the time taken, it is called speed. Okay, so I would define speed as distance upon time. Okay, now when we say speed, there are different types of speed. To start with, it would be uniform speed, then second would be non-uniform or variable speed. I would say variable speed. Correct. Then there would be something called average speed, and the fourth one here is instantaneous speed. Now why these different names? Why these four names? Now first one is uniform, then second one is variable, then average, and then fourth one is instantaneous. What is uniform speed? If a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. Okay, so for example here, while going from P to Q, I have, I cover this into 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 equal parts, and each part is 6, 6, 6, 6 and 6. Correct. For covering the first 6 meter, I take 1 second. For second 6, I take 1 second, and so on. So every second I'm covering 6 meter. Okay, if I'm doing that, then my speed is uniform. But then for first 6 meters, if I take half second, then last 6 meters again I take half, and then this distance, okay, I take 1, 1, 1. Okay, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, or maybe some other values of time. Okay, I'm covering equal distances but not in equal intervals of time. Then that would be variable speed. Correct. The speed is not the same at all points, whereas in uniform speed, the speed, the distance covered remains same in equal intervals of time, or equal distances in equal intervals of time. Anyhow, what about average speed? Now what is an average? We used to calculate class average marks of the class. Okay, there is this physics exam and there are 10 students in this class, and each one of them, now one of the students, he scores let us say 40 on 50, the other scores 30 on 50, third one scores 48 on 50, fourth scores something, fifth scores 20, and so on. Okay, now I want to find the average class marks. So what do? I add all the marks and divide by total number of students. Correct. So that gives me average class marks. What about average speed here? So for average speed, what do? I consider all the total distance traveled and I divide that by total time taken. So that is my average speed, correct? The speed for different intervals of distance, those speeds may be different. But then what I do, I take the total distance and I divide by total time. That's it. And that's my average speed. But then what about instantaneous speed? Instantaneous speed at an instant. What is an instant? Instant is a moment, speed at that moment. Okay, I'll give an example. I want to go to Pune. Okay, so I sit in the car. Now what is the speed of my car now? As I sit, it is 0, obviously. Then I start my car, I take it out of the still parking and take a right turn. I move towards the gate of my society. From the gate, I take a left turn and come out on the road. Okay, it's not a main road, of course. Okay, now I put my car in the second gear. Okay, and I increase the speed. When I sat in the car, the speed was 0. I started the engine, again the speed was 0. Then I started and came out of the gate. My speed was something between 0 and 5 kilometers per hour. Now, as I came out of the gate, my speed slowly started increasing. 10 kilometers per hour, 20. I put my car in the third gear and then fourth and then top gear. Right, but then I reached the signal. Okay, I have to stop at the red light. Okay, again speed of my car was 0. Now again I take a right turn at the signal and I'm on the expressway. Okay, and then gradually I put the car back in the top gear, and I see that my car, the clock is showing 90 kilometers per hour. Okay, so when I started it was 0, then it was 10 and 15 and 20 and 40, 60, 80, 90 now. Okay, and suddenly I am going to reach one red light. Okay, now I'll stop there. Again I'll start when the light is green. I'll start. Then I'll again reach one toll booth where I stop for paying the toll. Again my speed is 0. So when I started, my speed was 0. When I reached the signal, my speed was 0. I reached another signal, my speed is 0. Okay, I reached a toll booth, my speed is 0. But then between these, my speed was greater than 0, obviously. In the first phase, it was between 0 to 5. In the second one, it was about 40, 50. In the third, it was 90. Okay, and in my fourth stage, it was somewhere between 100 and 110, something like that. Okay, my speed at all the instants, okay, it was different. It was 0, it was 5, it was 20, it was 60, it was 90, it was 110. Okay, but it doesn't from 0 immediately it doesn't become 5, right? From 5 it doesn't become immediately 10. Between 5 and 20 there is something called 15, 16, 18, 19, 19.5 or something like that, and same thing is there for these other intervals too, correct? That means at a given instant my speed, for that I have to see my speedometer. So whatever speed my speedometer shows, okay, it is the speed at that instant. Now let us go a little further. From my place to Pune, the distance is 150 kilometer. Okay, and the time that I took for that, it is 2.5 hours. Correct? Then what is my speed? What is my average speed? So it would be 150 upon 25 into 10, that is equal to 60 kilometer per hour. Now this is cheating. Why it is cheating? Because when I was on the expressway, I could clearly see I was driving at 140 kilometers per hour, and what is it showing? It is showing 60 kilometers per hour. That 140 kilometers per hour, that was my instantaneous speed, because at times my speed was 0 At times it was 15, it was 20, it was 60, it was more than that. Okay, so that is about instantaneous speed. When you say instantaneous speed, it is speed at that moment, and that moment is so small, it is infinitesimally small moment. So what I'll do here, I'll definitely take distance, that is x, and I'm going to divide that by time, and that is going to be my speed. Let us call it v. Okay, but then here this time interval for instantaneous speed, it is going to be very small, so delta x, and then corresponding change in the position, that is going to be equal to delta x, and I will take limit as delta t tends to 0. Now what is this limit as delta t tends to 0? That is something related to calculus. You can refer to my videos on calculus and physics. Okay, so over there you will come to know about this instantaneous or infinitesimally small increments, and increments in time and distance. Okay, and that would give you a better idea about this. But for now, I would say limit of delta x upon delta t as delta t tends to 0 is my instantaneous speed. Okay, it is speed at that instant. Okay, in the next video we are going to talk more about velocity, which is going to be a vector quantity. My speed is a scalar quantity. Obviously, like we discussed in distance and displacement, my speed, it is a ratio of distance and time. Okay, and distance is scalar, so ratio of a scalar quantity with a scalar quantity is obviously going to be a scalar quantity. So my speed is scalar quantity. Speed can be 0 or it can be positive, it cannot be negative. Okay, we'll be comparing these things in more details when we learn velocity, right? Thank you so much.